Hey, so welcome to what I'm going to try to do every week. I'm going to call it Kenny's Corner. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And so I want to talk about leadership. And I want all of you out there, all of my leaders out there, to always be thinking about your career and how you can become just a better leader every single day. You should be doing at least one thing a day that develops yourself and makes you a better leader. So I want to talk about two quick topics today. And one of them, you've heard me talk about this a lot. You see it on my signature, right? What's on my auto signature, Baran? Oh, who knows what's on there?
Leadership is influence.
Leadership is influence. Really nothing more, nothing less. And so who can tell me what I mean by that? Leadership is all about influence. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Pretty much that. If you're a leader, you have to be influencing someone. Someone has to want to model what you're doing.
Yeah.
And someone has to be inspired by you.
Yeah, absolutely. So as leaders, right, guys, we struggle every day with if we ask somebody to do something and they don't do it, then what do?
Lead by example.
You lead by example, right? Absolutely. What else could you do? We write people up all day long, so that's not the answer I'm looking for. What else can you do?
Exhibit great behaviors.
Exhibit great behaviors yourself. How about also, Darwin likes to say this, have a conversation, with someone and figure out, well, why didn't you get this done? Talk a little bit about the value of why you even asked. Maybe it's planogram and how important it is that our planogram is straight. Forget about audit. Well, we can't forget about audit, but forget about audit for a second. The planogram is set for a lot of reasons, right? So that our customers can walk into just a terrific environment. I've had the pleasure of doing some great interviews the last couple of days with some prospective new hires here in the West Babylon store, and I've done some of the interviews right there on the floor because I want them to start to use the facilities to sell. So that kind of is a long stretch of what we were trying to talk about, but anything that you ask your people to do, it's important, right? You're not going to ask them to do something that's not important to the business or just doesn't really matter to the business. So your influence. I want to tie that in with the workshop that we started about a week and a half ago. And that was called How Everybody Communicates, but Few People Connect. What did I mean by that? What did that whole workshop mean? Well, just that title. Everybody communicates, but few really connect.
It's really getting the message understood to that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. What else?
They're the ones that made the execution.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we communicate. Go ahead, Amanda.
Influencing someone so much that they are willing to follow you in whatever you do. So connecting with them on a whole nother level where they're not only seeing you as their leader, but they believe in you and they have your buy-in.
There you go. We can give it up for that. Yeah. Absolutely. That's exactly what we mean by that. And we all communicate. How many of us send out a lot of emails every day, or we send out text messages every day? That's communicating, right? But is it really, really connecting with people? Connecting with people means that you know what their hopes and dreams are. You know why they actually show up for work every single day, and you become that great shining example to them, so that anything that you ask them to do, they're going to be like, you know what? Jaji has asked me to go ahead and take down these posters off the wall. He's got a reason for it because he wouldn't ask me to do it if it wasn't important. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it quick, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability because I've made a connection now with my leader. Forget about the titles for a second. A leader makes those true connections, and those connections are on a personal, emotional, and professional level. Okay? So don't get it twisted, right? We don't want to cross any emotional or personal lines. We don't have to ever do that. But we do want to connect with people personally. You know everybody's name, right? That's personal, right? You probably know where they live, right? That's personal. How they get to work. I was speaking with a gentleman the other day, and I hadn't had much of a connection with him, just being totally honest. He was a rep in one of my stores, and I hadn't really seen him that much because he only works 3 days a week. And I got to find out that he actually rides his bike to work every single day. And he rides it a pretty long way. to work. So now just making that kind of little connection already in my mind, I asked him, hey, what store do you live closest to? And he told me that, and already now in my mind, I'm gonna work out to get him over to that store. How do you think our relationship is gonna be going forward?
A lot better.
Yeah. When I go up to him later this month and say, hey, listen, I really want to get you a little closer to home. I understand, it's a little tough right now. You don't have, a car. You ride your bike. You ride it pretty far every day, and he's always there on time, and he works hard. How about if we got you a little closer to home? That's a connection, right? That you can make, and now you can use it for business, because I can actually use him in the other store too, because I think he'll do great. So instead of just communicating, I want to put a challenge out to not only leaders in the room, but all the leaders that's listening to this video. I want you to make that effort to really make a connection. You guys always laugh at me at this, but I'm telling you, the smallest thing that you can start is having that little secret handshake. You saw me do a little handshake with Randy yesterday, right? He's probably the only one I really have that secret handshake with. But if I had a store today, every time somebody came in, man, I'd be like doing a little shimmy or something, and then that's quite a connection. And that's not an original thought by me. I saw a video of a teacher, I think he's down in North Carolina somewhere, and all 30 of his students, man, they can't wait. That's how they greet each other, in the morning. How do you think the rest of that day goes? When they come in and they, slap high five, they do a little dance with the teacher, and now the rest of the day goes. Think about that if you did that with all of your employees. Yeah, just that little secret thing that you had. So communicate on a different level, connect on a different level. I'm going to challenge you to do that this month. Start it with one person and start it with just one thing that you could possibly do to really make that connection on a much deeper level. All right, it's Kenny's Corner, right? We'll talk to you next month.